Welcome, everyone. I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos coming up, a beautiful Shabbos for everyone. This week's Torah portion, we read about the reuniting of Yosef and his brothers. We spoke about this a few days ago. And after 22 years, he was finally reunited not only with his brothers, but also with his father Yaakov, who was back in Canaan, in Eretz Yisrael, and how excited Yaakov was when he came finally and met his son again, his beloved son Yosef, who he thought was dead many, many years ago. Yosef decided to send wagons, many wagons to Yaakov, and to bring him grain and all kinds of things, and then to escort him back to Israel. Why did he send wagons? So our commentaries explain that wagon in Hebrew is an agala. And he sent him the wagons for a specific reason, because he wanted to remind him that the last thing that he was studying in Torah with his father was the laws of the Egla Arufa. Again, the word Egla means a calf, but it could also come from the word agala, which means a wagon. And they were studying the laws of the Egla Arufa, the calf that is decapitated as an atonement for a murder that took place between two cities, and they wanted to determine who was responsible for this horrible act. So they decapitated a calf, and there was a whole process, a whole halacha dealing with it, of how to deal with it exactly. So when he sent the wagons to Yaakov, it would be a sign for Yaakov that indeed Yosef was alive, because he'll be reminded of the Egla Rufa that they were studying at that time. And Yaakov was so happy and so excited to find that wonderful news for two reasons. The first reason was that he saw that Yosef, even though he was living in Egypt under very harsh circumstances, where he was among very deprived people and tremendous assimilation and everything, nevertheless, he was still Yosef, the son that he knew and the son that he raised. And he was observant and he studied Torah. And this was a tremendous relief for Yaakov. And in addition to that, there was one extra thing, and that was that Yosef, besides being personally observant, he was also making an amazing impact on Egyptian society. For every parent, they want those two things for their children. On one hand, if they're Jewish, they want to be assured that the children will continue in the traditions of the Jewish people and of Judaism. Every parent wants that more than anything else. They want to hope and pray that their children will continue the traditions, the Torah, the values, the mitzvot, the holidays of Jewish tradition. And that is so important to a parent. But there's something else that a parent is concerned about. A parent wants to know that a child is going to make a positive impact on the world, that the child is going to contribute to the world and be a good citizen and a good example of what a Jew really is in the world. And that's something that's also very, very important. It's not sufficient for us just to see that our children are observant, but we want to make sure that our children are really making that impact, making that mark on the world as well as Yosef was. And these two aspects are very, very important for any parent. And children should realize, what is it that my parents really want me to do? What would give the greatest nachas, the greatest joy for my parents? And the answer is number one, keeping Torah mitzvahs. And the other is to being a good person and doing good things in the world and making the world into a better place, tikkun olam. Those are the two things that every parent wants for their children. Candlelighting in San Diego is at 4:24. This is the earliest it's going to get. After this, it's going to start getting longer starting next week. I want to wish you all a good Shabbos, a beautiful Shabbos for you and your family.